is going.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Friday Night Freak Show has begun. We're locked and loaded tonight. We got a former coach of the year on the program. Coach Terry Bowden steps up and joins us. We'll talk college football with a former coach of the year who led the Auburn Tigers to an 11-0 record in 1993. We'll break down these college football games that are going on live. Gotta love it. The Syracuse Orangemen just scored a touchdown. They're down 20-16, extra point pending. They were down 20-10. There's only like 6 seconds left in the third quarter of play. So this game was starting to get away from them. Kyle McCord just scrambled for a 19-yard touchdown run. Very, very nice play. This kid's been balling for the Orangemen after the Ohio State Buckeyes threw him under the bus. Speaking of the Big Ten, we got a Big Ten football game going on. The second half has just started. Nebraska and Illinois. Nebraska up 17-10 at the half. And as we stated, the second half has just started. The current in-game number is 9.5. Illinois had the football to start off the second half. It just started. The in-game total right now is 48.5. Of course, it closed at 42.5. Stanford and Syracuse. I like the over of this game. And it closed at 57. We are on the Cardinals plus the points, but it's a little bit lower scoring than I would like. I'm surprised that Syracuse only have 17 points, and Stanford have left some points on the field with some turnovers. In-game total is currently 50.5. Overtime could potentially be in play. If Stanford, listen, there's still a whole quarter left here. If Stanford pop a big one and can score quickly and get up 27-17, then we're in business, right? Because Syracuse will still have about 10 minutes, 12 minutes or something like that left to come back down 10. So there's a lot of scenarios that can still happen in this football game. We've got another game getting ready for kickoff. It hasn't kicked off yet. Washington State, one of the surprise stories of the year, albeit it's still a very young season when it comes to college football right now. You can't get too excited about teams because they're 3-0 and 4-0. But the Washington State Cougars, their schedule, it hasn't just been non-conference cupcakes, all right? They beat Texas Tech. They smoked Texas Tech. They just beat the Washington Huskies in the Apple Cup. They absolutely lit up Portland State in the first game of the year and hung 70 on them. This is a good football team, right? And all they do is cover point spreads, but you got the San Jose State Spartans, who are also 3-0 ATS, albeit they played Kennesaw State, they played Cal State Sacramento. Their one sort of real win this year, their win is against Air Force. So let's give them credit. You have the former Navy coach running the program right now in San Jose, but they don't run the triple option. They throw the football. This is a tricky game tonight, and normally I don't like laying points with the favorite, but Pullman is a really tough place to play, and I get that San Jose State are 3-0 against the spread. So are Washington State, but the Cougars have done it against better teams. I don't want to get in front of the Cougars tonight, so we laid the points with the Cougars. I think that San Jose State are going to have a hard time scoring against Washington State's defense. So you also know I'm not a big under guy, but I think the under's the play here. And I got an under 57 in this game. I'm seeing it's closing right now at 55. I think we can squeeze out an under in this game. San Jose State's defense has been really good, too. San Jose State's defense, like their metrics, like they're like top 25, top 30, in the country in a lot of metrics. But as I stated, and listen, Cal State, Sacramento, they're a pretty good football team, but they're an FCS team, right? And Kennesaw State's an FCS team. So this is a step up in class right now for the San Jose State Spartans. But as we stated, anytime you're laying 13 points, it's dangerous. So 17-10 for Nebraska. Looks like Illinois are going to have to punt the football. We just got a touchdown in from Syracuse. NFL football. We'll keep our eye on everything that's going on here with some updated numbers. NFL football, there's a lot of players that are questionable, and there's a lot of games that are still tough to handicap right now. But let's get into it. Justin Herbert. We talk about Justin Herbert's injuries coming into the season and how it could be a lingering issue for him. Right. And if you look, the Chargers are 2-0 this year, but it's not because of Justin Herbert lighting it up. They're just running the ball on every play. It's pretty crazy. Like, you'd think they have a rookie quarterback, actually, the Chargers, if you see the way that they call their plays. But that's the way Harbaugh rolls. He wants to establish the run first. But now the pain in the ankle is causing Herbert some problems for this football game. So he's questionable right now. He might play. He might not play. Seems to me the Green Bay Packers are just sort of playing with everybody all the time, and they want to plant the seed in the other team's mind that, you know what, Jordan Love might play in this game. I don't think Jordan Love's going to play. I fell for it last week. And I said this, I think they can win at home with Malik Willis. I don't really, on the road, it's kind of a tough spot here. I still think the Green Bay Packers can win this football game with Malik Willis, but it looks more and more like it's going to be Malik Willis. Dr. David Chow, who's normally bang on with this stuff, he said that he thinks it's kind of a smokescreen as well, that Love will play next week for sure. They got a division game next week against the Vikings. So Chow was saying he thinks that it's pretty much a lock that he won't play this week, but he will play. If he had to play, he could play, but it's one of those type of deals. T. Higgins will be playing on Monday Night Football. Kenneth Walker, now doubtful. Looks like he's going to be out, a running back for the Seattle Seahawks again, although Charbonnet did a nice job stepping up and in. And the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams, this kind of looks like a preseason game. When you look at the list of players and big-time players that are out of this football game, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, now George Kittle is listed as doubtful. Of course, Christian McCaffrey is out. We know that Samuel is out. George Kittle now officially listed as doubtful for Sunday. On the other side of the football, Nick Bosa is now listed as questionable. Charvarius Ward is listed as questionable for this game against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, with all that being stated, the Niners are so deep, they still, like we see, Mason can run the football, right? They still, hey, Ayuk, you want a big money? Well, you got big money. But, Brock Purdy, as good as he looks, suddenly Brock Purdy, is suddenly, oh, yeah, this guy was Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, right? And he's going to, if you want to be a big-time quarterback, you're going to have to find ways to win games when your star players aren't there. I think they will. And the Niners are pretty lethal coming off of a loss as well, which they are coming off of a loss against the Minnesota Vikings. So we'll get you caught up to date with all the point spreads and the line moves in the National Football League. As I stated off the top, Coach Terry Bowden will step up and in and join us. The Raging Redhead Cam Stewart in the house a little bit later on. Steve Merrill will throw it down. Rob Vino kicks it with us. Tony Finn on the radar, and Big Card Julio on the radar as well tonight. He'll be a game time decision, but we're absolutely stacked, and we've only got 120 minutes to do this thing tonight. Major League Baseball, the baseball world is still riveted by Shohei Ohtani's masterpiece last night, which was arguably the best regular season game ever. Listen, Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. That's pretty good, right? Against the Dodgers. That was pretty good. But as far as like regular season stuff, I know some people have had 2 grand slams. There's been a couple of, there's been some wild stuff that's happened over the years, obviously, in Major League Baseball. But you go 6 for 6, you have 10 RBIs, you steal a couple of bases, and you do something that was never been done in the history of the sport before with the 50-50 stuff. And, is anyone going to laugh and point at you and say you're insane if you think that was like the greatest day ever and the greatest game ever in regular season history? I mean, we're talking about best games ever. Don Larson threw a freaking perfect game in the World Series. But that's here nor there. Let's do this thing. A freak show's begun.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, and all of our affiliates. We've got a real treat for you. Tonight we talk a lot of college football on this show, but we actually have somebody who knows what they're talking about tonight. Instead of our just hot takes, we're now joined by a man, former Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year, Walter Camp Coach of the Year, led the Auburn Tigers to a perfect undefeated season, and much more, but his resume is too long. We only have so much time for the great coach. Terry Bowden steps up and joins us. Coach, we're fired up to have you on the show tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, too. We've seen some great football tonight. It's not the top teams in the conferences, but there are teams that are playing so competitively. We got a couple of great games going on.
And I'll tell you what, Coach, it's been a little while, and I'm not saying Nebraska are all the way back right now, obviously, but you can feel something special starting to go on in Lincoln right now, and it was sort of easy to forget just what a rocking and special place Memorial Stadium can be when the Huskers are good and just how loud it is in there.
Yeah, I was at Florida State coaching back in the 80s when Tom Osborne was winning championships, I guess into the 90s, and it was a rocking place. And those fans, they never lost at home. And now they're getting some of that back, and you see that atmosphere today, and you kind of see them begin to take over. Rioli had a great touchdown right before the half, and though it's been a perfectly well-fought game, two teams, Illinois and Nebraska, playing very evenly on every side, both sides of the ball, you're beginning to see Nebraska start to pull away, and you got to feel like that home field advantage is beginning to help a little bit.
Coach, it's 17-10 now, midway through the third quarter of play. Critical for Illinois to get the next score. Their offense just not built to come back from down double digits, right? This is it. The game is, sort of in the balance right now. They just came up with a big stop. They're getting the ball back, but how do you think this plays out in the second half? You think Nebraska just wear them out?
No, I think Nebraska will wear them out in a sense that they're going to pull it out, but one turnover can change everything. You've got the game so close, and I think Brett Bielema has been coaching a long time. He's a veteran. He has a great road game record of winning on the road and beating the line on the road. But so a turnover is the biggest thing that can happen right now. If Nebraska makes any mistakes, it'll give Illinois a chance to get back in the game. But I believe Nebraska is going to be able to hold on as they keep from having a turnover now late in the game.
Now, for the record, I did take the points tonight. I figured, you know what, I think Illinois, because you talked about, Bielema, man, this guy, Nebraska are a lunch pail team. They run the ball 53% of the time, kind of a slower pace, and I figured this is right in his wheelhouse, right? So I figured it'd hang around. I wanted to ask you, Coach, speaking about these crazy stadiums, I've noticed home field advantage doesn't mean anything anymore in the National Football League. Like, teams went on the road all the time right now, and it seems like the modern college football player, Coach, a little bit more immune. I don't know. It seems like teams aren't phased because I was a little bit worried. How are Illinois going to handle this spot, their first game on the road, right? We saw Texas go into the big house earlier this year. It seems like the modern football team and the modern football player are a little bit less phased than some of these road spots.
No, I think you're right. There's so many players changing teams and changing stadiums, and you lose that morale, that type of emotion that goes with playing at home and playing on the road. And everybody's playing at different places, and home fields are no different than fields on the road. I've always said that home team records are better because you play your 2 or 3 non-conference cupcake teams at home, and you've always got a better home record. But I never thought, but the home field advantage of some of these great college football stadiums, you got to remember, college stadiums go to 100, 110,000, quite a bit more than the NFL stadiums.
Coach, you coached in, under adversity with a team with a chip on their shoulder, obviously. And you did an awesome job. It's legendary with the Auburn Tigers. Now, Washington State, not the same thing. They're not the exact same situation, but they're basically like, they got broken up. Their girlfriend left them, moved down the street. Nobody wanted to talk to them. All their friends abandoned them. Half the team's players split. Their athletic director went to the Washington Huskies even, Coach. And here they are right now. They're 3-0, and they're not just 3-0 against cupcakes, Coach. Impressive win in the Apple Cup. They smoked Texas Tech earlier in the year. Man, Jake Dicker's doing a great job, and you got a 3-0 San Jose State team playing against them tonight. But I wanted to get your thoughts on what Washington State's doing, and what's it like when you can sort of play into the, it's us against the world, guys.
Well, when you're at Auburn and you're in the same state as Alabama, I mean, they used to say at Auburn when I was there, you could be 10-0 and save your career, but you hadn't saved your job yet because you hadn't played Alabama till the last game. And I think Washington State lives with Washington. And then for them to be snubbed like they were and the other teams to go to the Big Ten, my thoughts are that Washington State's playing with a little chip on their shoulder too, and they've got quality wins. And they see an opportunity to have a great team on the West Coast. So, I mean, I've got Washington State playing tonight and really drubbing this team tonight and showing what they can do because I don't think it's just about playing a cupcake schedule early. They've had big games, they played well, and they've got something to prove.
Coach Terry Bowden with us. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Coach, So, speaking of that, the Auburn, Alabama stuff, you got to beat the rival. What do you think about Ryan Day's situation that he's in? This guy's lost, maybe 4 or 5 games in his career, and he's literally on the hot seat because he loses the wrong games and to the wrong teams. And he's got a better roster than the Carolina Panthers do now, Coach. He's got a payroll of $20 million on his team. What's it like with that type of pressure, Coach, on Ryan Day this year?
Oh, and there's pressure, I promise you. I coached in Ohio the last 7 years. When I was in Akron a couple of years ago, and it's unbelievable how much pressure there is. It's that team up north. They don't even say the name of Michigan, and he's lost 3 times in a row. Like I'd say, I don't know if you fire a guy because he's done so well, but you're always uncomfortable. There's always that feeling that you can't win the big one, because I don't care if you're at Auburn and it's Alabama, but if it's Ohio State, you got to beat Michigan. I don't know how many more you can go and not make the fans pretty upset, but he's got a great team this year. Michigan does look to be down. So if he doesn't win this year against Michigan, I'd say that'd be a problem.
Coach, we're seeing the hot seat in Gainesville's already. It's hot. And I never like to see coaches get, kicked when they're down, so to speak, in the media and with fan bases. But speaking of just, a program in which the fan base, and on the other side, we got a couple of more minutes with Coach on the other side. We'll get his thoughts on the big games tomorrow, Michigan and USC, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. His thoughts on Auburn. But we got the coach, Terry Bowden, with a 17-10 right now. Illinois with the ball midfield. 6 minutes left in the third quarter of play. Let's roll.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below-average quarterback with a below-average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, in the immortal words of Coach Harbaugh, who's got it better than us? Nobody. We're watching college football. We're talking to Terry Bowden about college football right now. Great stuff on the Friday Night Freak Show. So let's get down to business, Coach. There's been so much anticipation about the Texas Longhorns and Oklahoma Sooners going to the SEC. But now it begins for real. We've got conference play. Oklahoma hosting the Tennessee Volunteers, and a Tennessee Volunteer offense coach is basically putting up 64 points a game so far this year. And they play defense. So they're not just one of these, they're high-powered offense. James Pierce is arguably the best defensive player in the country. Coach, that D-line are monsters with the Volunteers. What are your thoughts on this matchup in Norman on Saturday night?
This is going to be a huge challenge for Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma plays great defense as well as Tennessee, but they're nowhere near where Tennessee is on offense. Tennessee plays as fast, if not faster, than anybody in the country. Maybe Ole Miss will play as fast as them, and he's going for the deep ball almost all the time. He's going for the deep one. He's going for the home run almost the entire game. And I just think somewhere along the line, I do think Michigan's going to have a good game. I think they're going to bounce back. You got to remember, they're the defending national champions, 13-0 last year. And you know those players still know what it means and what it takes to win. And their loss has been to the number one team in the country. So I see this being a much better game. I don't know that they can score enough. When you start changing your quarterback in the third game of the season, you got quarterback problems. So they've got some quarterback problems, which is going to hurt them in their scoring. But they can run the ball if they can play great defense and not give up the big play. They can hang around this thing and make it interesting in the second half.
I was at the LSU-USC game, Coach, in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. And USC's physicality in the trenches was surprising. They were blowing up the pocket. LSU really couldn't get the ground game going against them. Then they played Utah State. They're coming off a bye week here, but I mean, still going. We were just talking before about, all right, teams are less phased going on the road right now, but their first game in the Big Ten, CBS, 3:30 time slot. I mean, they're really hyping this one up, Coach. It almost feels like Michigan season. It's like gut check time for Michigan, right? And, even if they don't make the playoffs, but Sherrod Moore sort of needs an early big win. I know he won last year when he was the interim coach, but it's a massive game for the Wolverines tomorrow.
Yeah, you're playing at home again, and your fans are there, and Michigan is still Michigan. You've got to come back and play like the team is known to play. But you got to see Southern Cal now. They went out and hired the defensive coordinator from UCLA, and they've kind of turned that defense all around. I've always felt like if Lincoln Riley would ever play defense, he'd be playing for the championship every year because he's another one of those offensive head coaches who calls the plays and has built his career on scoring as many points as he can, and that's what he's always going to try to do. But that doesn't always help your defense. Sometimes you gotta stay on the field a little bit and get your defense off the field. But he's got a great defensive coordinator. They're a much better football team because of their defense, and it is going to be a great challenge for Michigan in the Big House.
Coach, so you think Tennessee's offense is going to be too much when it's all said and done for Oklahoma to keep up here, huh?
I just think because I was at Clemson as an analyst the last couple of years before I came to ULM. Venables was there. They are a defensive-minded team, and they're just coming along slowly on offense. Their quarterback is not there this year quite yet, and they've got some continued building to do on offense. I just think somewhere along the line, Tennessee's going to hit a big play or a big play, and I don't think Oklahoma has the catch-up time of offense. They struggled with Houston. They struggled with Tulane, and it's not about their defense. It's about their offense. So I think they've got a chance to be a really good team, but I don't think they're going to have enough offense this year to play and keep up with Tennessee. And Tennessee, I think, in the second half pulls away. And if Tennessee scores big time, a couple of plays early in the game, they could put a lot of points on the board.
Coach, we've got about a minute left on the way out here. Florida State obviously struggling this year. You got the Cal Golden Bears rolling into Tallahassee. And, you know, we've seen these former Pac-12 teams that people have discarded. We were talking about Washington State. They've been playing good football. Cal went in Auburn and won. So they've shown, listen, we're not scared of the traditional legacy institutions here. What are your thoughts on this game, and what can they do to turn it around, Coach, in Tallahassee? We've got about 45 seconds here.
First of all, it's the biggest misconception there is in the South, and I'm from the South. We think we play tougher football. We do take football seriously. When a Cal goes into Auburn and beats Auburn, and a Cal now goes to Florida State, and I would not be shocked if they won against Florida State. My biggest issue is when you sign all these NIL guys, when things don't go right, do they lay down and quit playing? There's no more love of the colors, love of the school, love of the alma mater. All that stuff is gone. When you're not playing for a championship, do they hang it up a little bit and not give you what you would get from guys that play 3 or 4 years?
Great point, Coach. I look forward to catching up with you next week. Thanks for the time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind LA. That being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Friday Night Free Show continues. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. We've got 3 college football games in action as we speak. It's great stuff. And it was awesome to have the coach, Terry Bowden, on the program, former coach of the year, and a man who's been and coached in all these stadiums. So, we didn't do story time or anything like that, but he had, every time I mentioned a game, what game I coached there and, crazy stadium to be in. So it's going to be fun to have Coach Bowden on. He's going to join us every Friday night for the remainder of the college football season. And I'm taking Cal because this guy grew up around FSU. And he said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cal go in there and win. That's his way of saying Cal's going to win. Let's bring in Steve Merrill right now and Cam Stewart. Steve, good to see you. How you doing tonight?
Doing well, boys. And, that Florida State team is a very difficult team to get a gauge on right now, to say the least.
That's the definition, Steve. They're not a falling knife. They're a falling sword.
Yeah, no, what's the spear called? I used that on the show yesterday. I said falling knife, and then I was like, well, whatever that thing is, whatever the spear is that the Tallahassee guy, the Seminole chucks off the horse.
Yeah.
Right through their heart.
You're right. It's like they're stomping in the middle of the field. That's, dangerous. Listen, last week, I almost think Cam and Steve that it should be like 6.5. Like last week, it was Memphis, and you can argue Memphis are better than Cal, but they're on to it, Steve. Last week was the last free gift, and I was on the Memphis Tigers plus the 6.5 last week, and I know that was the last time. So now you get Cal only getting 2.5. But as me and the coaches talked about, we saw Cal go into SEC country, Steve, and beat the Auburn Tigers. We're seeing right now the Stanford Cardinal, all these teams that everyone's laughing at, right? Oh, California, West Coast. And you know what the coach has said? He goes, and he knows. He goes, I'm from the South. He goes, everybody in the South thinks that we're best and we're, this and that in college football. He goes, we're not the toughest. We just love it more than everyone. And he goes, you're seeing this right now. So what do you think of that, Steve? It's, Cal or pass, right? There's no way in hell you can bet on FSU. But is the point spread enough to get you interested in Cal?
No, it's not actually. In fact, I do the simulation, 10,000 games simulated, and it's 6.2. So it's exactly what you're saying, Gabe. It should be about 6 to 6.5. Yeah. I think you're spot on.
Exactly.
I can't.
Like
I came out to 6.2.
Should have gotten 2.5 free, Steve, and the other way around. So, like, that's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, you can't simulate how much a team has tanked for the season. And here's the thing, those first 2 losses were obviously bad. They were a top 10 team to start the season. They lose as a double-digit favorite. But the dagger was the fact they are both conference games, right? Because now they can't just win out in conference play and still make the playoffs. So it's a huge problem. They had the bye week going into Memphis. I thought maybe they would regroup. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I would lean towards FSU based on the line value, but once again, I'm not in I'm not in the habit of catching falling knives, as you know.
So Cam, Nebraska are up 17-10 right now. Illinois are on the verge of punching it in. This has been a pretty solid drive by Illinois. They've taken about 6 minutes off the clock. Very systematic. And here they are knocking on the door right now. And there it is. They finish it off with the touchdown. 17-16, extra point pending. Who are you on here, Cam, with Illinois and Nebraska?
I actually took Nebraska, I can't lie, so I'm not in good shape there. But Stanford looks pretty good. I sprinkled on the money line, too. And, they're playing really good football, Gabe. And it was a great night in the Canadian Football League in the early game with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the over. Every time these teams get together, it's fireworks. And our boy, Leggio, kicked the game-winning kick. Leggio, game winner. He's the kicker, Steve. His name's Leggio, and he got it done, a 47-yarder. Boom. Ticats beat Argos. Great football tonight, Gabe. Excellent. And all CFL, college, great night.
Yeah, it's great to have all these games on at once on a Friday night. So big weekend of football, big-time college, and very interesting in the NFL. Steve, I thought coming in, I took Illinois tonight, and I thought, all this Nebraska hype was just a little bit too public. All right, Raiola this, Raiola that, and you're a big numbers guy and pace of play guy, Steve, and people don't talk about it much with college football. We talk about it a lot with the NBA and, college basketball. The way I looked at it, Steve, was like, all right, they're ranked 112th and 115th, respectively, in college football in pace of play. Both these teams, I just talked about this drive, both these teams, and that's why the total was so light, but both teams run the play clock. Both teams want to play smash mouth football. People think as Raiola is a big name and a star that they're a juggernaut offense. They're not. They run the ball. They play smash mouth football in Nebraska. So I was thinking, smash mouth game. This is right in Brent Bielema's backyard and wheelhouse and playing a smash mouth football team. And, Illinois coming off a win against Kansas, Steve. And I called it last night, if you remember, Cam. I said, if you like Illinois weight, the number is going to go up. Hell, it went all the way up to 9.5, Steve, tonight. I was like, I got to take Illinois. What was their first road game? Their offense is holding up at 17-17 right now.
Yeah, I stayed off this game tonight, but I was leaning Nebraska just because I made it 12, so I thought it was a little short. And also the one thing I thought might come into play was turnovers. Illinois hadn't played a road game all season, and they had a 9-1 turnover edge in those first 3 home games. He thought maybe traveling for the first time, hostile environment, they would have some trouble, but they've been very smooth tonight. These are 2 good teams. By the way, this is a loser-leave top 25 game because they're 24th and 22nd. So whoever loses this game will not be ranked next week.
So San Jose State and Washington State, they started off with a bang. Both teams put touchdowns on the board early. It's a 7-7 football game right now. And San Jose State are moving the ball. We're seeing both underdogs are covering tonight. And, I hate taking favorites, but I did take Washington State this evening just due to the fact of how well they played this year, scoring 70 points on Portland State, smacking Texas Tech the way they did. Mm-hmm. I get it. You can say, it's a little bit of a letdown coming off the Apple Cup. But, Washington State they've got a chip on their shoulder, this team. So I didn't really, and Steve, I thought like San Jose State, okay, they're 3-0 ATS. They also played Cal State, Sacramento, and they played Kennesaw State. They beat Air Force. But maybe this is the real deal. They're moving the football right now. The in-game point spread, guys, all the way down to 6.5 already right now.
Yeah, I think this actually might be a good spot to pull the trigger with Washington State. As you mentioned, they were a 13-point pregame favorite. I actually simulated an 18-point win. I stayed off this game, though, for the reason you mentioned, and that was that possible letdown after the Washington win. I'm not in the habit of taking 2 touchdown favorites that just won straight up as a touchdown dog. But if you look at the line of scrimmage, San Jose State's rushed for 63 or less in all 3 games this year. And Washington State, before that Washington game, had over 520 rushing yards in their first 2 games. So I do think they'll wear them down in the second half. I think they'll wake up in game less than a touchdown. This might not be a bad spot now.
Cam, what did you do with this game? I'd never take unders, but like you said, Steve, I didn't think San Jose State would be able to move the ball this frequently. So I'm surprised that, about these early points. It still could slow down. But what did you do with the nightcap here, Cam? San Jose State and Washington State.
Great game, and you're right about the Spartans. These guys are gritty off to that 3-0 start. I took Washington State, too, and now I'm getting a 5.5 on my book. This is going to be hit after I'm done talking, and I like the over in this football game, Morency. Yeah, one thing I think they're going to exchange, but I think Washington State's going to put up tons of points in this game and just cover the number, maybe win by like 17 points. It'll be close.
This is wild. San Jose State are on the 12-yard line right now. They're moving the ball, so if people want to jump on Washington State, I think we can wait a second here after. If they score a touchdown, it'll come down. It's 5.5 now. So, yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit interested in this. So, 23.
Maybe Syracuse live, too. Like, we're already on Stanford with the points. They're moving the ball right now, and I'm seeing like a pick 'em. I think Syracuse is going to get a touchdown here and maybe win the game. We can hit both sides of this. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking Syracuse.
Syracuse are minus 200 on the money line right now. Yeah,
I had 110.
Just moved to refresh. Just moved to 220.
Okay, now I'm done. Sorry, that's not going to happen.
They're moving the ball. They're inside the red zone. That's why they're on the 15-yard line. They probably will. You figure they should score a touchdown here. I'd like to see them score a touchdown and miss the extra point. Go to overtime. 20 points. That's what I want.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below-average quarterback with a below-average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
The Syracuse Orangemen score the touchdown and are now leading 24-23. We've got some late-night entertainment on the gridiron this evening, and there's still 3 minutes left. And Stanford's kicker's good. So, and in a modern era, whatever, you only really have to get to like the 35, 40-yard line to have a puncher's chance. College a little closer, but it is indoors here. So Stanford are still alive. They are covering the big number right now, 24-23, with a little over 3 minutes remaining in the football game. Nebraska and Illinois, the third quarter just came to an end. It's 17-17. It was 17-10, and Illinois ate up like 6-7 minutes, marched down the field, tied the football game at 17. And then Nebraska got the ball and basically one big play. Boom. They had a big pass. There was a wide open receiver. There was a pretty quick drive for them. Right now, they're on the 1 yard line. So I think it's first and goal. It's first and goal coming up on the other side here. They're now laying 6.5, 17-17. Total 51.5. I thought that 42.5 was a little light, and I ended up betting it in-game over in this game. So I didn't get a great number, but I got over 47.5 in this game. In-game total is 51.5 right now. Let's get to Saturday's slate of games. And here's a team, guys, that, I don't know if they're flying under the radar because they were on national television last week, but, Steve, the Indiana Hoosiers, this football team, they got Cignati from James Madison, the coach. He brought over 13 players from James Madison. They really brought in players from all over the place, but it's basically, part Indiana, part James Madison. They brought in Curtis Rourke from Ohio at the quarterback, and this kid's a star. He's playing awesome football. And the thing with Indiana, they don't let up. Like, they're not letting up. Like you saw last week, they were throwing the ball late when they were up big on UCLA. They've set a record. They've scored more points than any other Indiana football team in school history through 3 games. They get Charlotte tomorrow. I don't think they let up, Steve. It's 28.5. The total's 50. I think Indiana are going to get into the mid-40s here, personally. I don't really know how much Charlotte are going to score on them. It's a lot of points to lay with the Hoosiers, but I don't think they take the pedal off the metal, Merrill.
Yeah, look, if you're going to play it, you lay it. I hardly ever play big dogs in September. Last week alone, I went 3-1 on Saturday at wagertalk.com. I had Tennessee and Miami of Florida. They won by combined 133-0. This is my 29th football season. It's a professional bettor game. It might be another 29 years, Cam, until I have a 133-0 doubleheader like that. So you got to lay it with these teams. And what you look for with these, big numbers is, first of all, a motivated favorite. And you just summed it up, Gabe. You've got a new coach. They're trying to make statements. And then on top of that, you want an underdog that doesn't have a lot of punch. And Charlotte kind of fits that bill as well. Charlotte's rushing for only 65 yards, only 2.5 yards per carry. They do throw the ball decent. So maybe there's a little bit of backdoor cover potential. I project a 32.5-point win by Indiana. Unfortunately, the 28.5 is a pretty ugly number. In fact, last Sunday, we had one book open 23, another book open 25, everybody else open 27. Now it's 28.5. So I still lean Indiana. I would like it a lot more, though, at 28 or less.
I think Charlotte, Gabe, and Steve are starting a third-string walk-on in this game, correct?
Whew.
Yeah.
I have not dug it deep enough to see that.
Yeah, well, they're 28.5-point home dogs, but you're right, Gabe. They might win this game by Charlotte's awful. So
I think it'll be 45-7, 45-10.
Yeah.
That makes sense. 48-10, 48-7,
Yep.
I think it's going to go over to 50 because they're not letting up. Like you said, Steve, new coach, they want to introduce themselves to everybody and show they're not and we saw James Madison last year, same thing. Cignati's just one of these, pedal to the metal, doing a great job coaches. And like I said, they're good. Like Nate Rourke, man, this guy, like Nate Rourke's brother, Curtis, like Nate Rourke had a hard time sticking in the NFL, and he's back in the CFL now. Curtis will not. Like, I've been telling you guys this for months. Like, Curtis Rourke's going to be in the NFL, and he might be a starter in the NFL, like the way this kid's throwing the football right now. Or at least put it this way, like, he's better than Aiden O'Connell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Nate Rourke right now would be like a 3rd, 4th round draft pick type thing. Maybe I'm being maybe he'd be higher, actually. Like I said, he's 6'5". He's 6'5". He's big. He's got touch. He's got a cannon. Like, he can really do it all. He can run the ball. It's very, very impressive. All right, Steve. So, big game tomorrow. Maybe not the best game to bet on from, when you get these marquee games, but people do want to watch it and bet it. USC and Michigan. Michigan make the quarterback change. So they bring in Alex Orji, who's been on the team, but he's a run-first quarterback. So I wonder how predictable their offense is going to be. This point spread's been all over the place, man, from 10.5 in the offseason to 5.5 earlier in the week, and now it's settling in at 4 right now. And Steve and Ken, this is the first, you were talking, Steve, about first road game. This is the first real road game for USC. They played in Vegas, whatever, L.A. and Vegas. It's like Vegas is a suburb of L.A., essentially, almost. And they hosted Utah State. They're coming off a bye week, so it does set up for them. But what do you think about USC going on the road for the first time this year?
Well, I do a lot of public consensus data with the NFL. I'm going to record my NFL Fade the Public video later tonight. It'll be aired tomorrow, Saturday on wagertalk.com. But I do follow it in college football as well, and I point that out because USC is looking like maybe one of the 2 or 3 most public plays this week in all of college football, yet the line has dropped, like you just said, Gabe. So that tells me there's a sharp square divide here. That's another angle I love to use in handicapping is when the public is on one side, yet the line is going the other way. We saw that last week, by the way, with both the Cardinals and also the Vikings in the NFL, and they both won outright and covered. So it is something to pay attention to. I agree with this line move. First of all, my simulation of 10,000 games has Michigan winning outright by 3 points, and I was a little surprised by that. I do tread a little lightly because Michigan is down so much this year from last year, but I do have 3 games of data now to plug in, and I do have Michigan winning outright. And to put this line in perspective, this summer the Circa opened all the look-ahead lines in June. They had Michigan -9. Just a week ago, a bettable look-ahead line last Wednesday was -2. USC did not even play. Michigan did not look impressive against Arkansas State, and now it's 5.5 all week. It's back down to 4. I do think there's some line value with Michigan, so then we look for a catalyst, right? We're not trying to catch a falling knife, and I think the catalyst is what you mentioned, the quarterback change. They wanted to be more balanced this year. It's not working. 6 interceptions for Allen. They benched him for a guy that they can move the ball on the ground. They held the line of scrimmage edge here.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
As their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below-average quarterback with a below-average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Whoa, we got, Syracuse are really lucky that looked like there was potentially going to be a flag. I think Stanford wanted one. It's 4th and 9 now. 4th and 9 for the Stanford Cardinal. They're not close enough for a field goal either. You know what? It was crazy. The Stanford had a big run, and they were in field goal range. It was like the kid popped it. It was like, oh, boy, like they're going to win. and there was a holding penalty. It came back. Yeah. And now, so they went back to midfield, and they're having a problem here. They got a 4th and 9. They still have a timeout left, too. They just called timeout. So timeouts aren't there. Time's not a problem for them, but they need to get the first down, pick up a couple of more yards, and then try to kick the field goal. But 24-23, the game's going to stay under the number, and either way, Stanford are going to cover the spread. Okay, Steve, so Tennessee. Here's another big one tomorrow. And then after that one, we just get to random games that you guys want to get to. But as far as the other big one tomorrow, Tennessee and Oklahoma, similar situation, Steve. It's USC's first game in the Big Ten tomorrow. And this is Oklahoma's debut in the SEC. And they get a smoking hot Tennessee Volunteer football team coming in here laying 7, total 57.5 right now.
This is eerily similar to the Michigan-USC situation. And just like that one, I think it is too many points. And we have a live home dog here. First of all, circa back in June when they had Michigan as a 9-point favorite, had Oklahoma as a 2-point favorite in this game. But just a week ago, last Wednesday, a week before the Saturday games, a bettable line was Tennessee -2. Now it's 7. So just because of last week's results, and by the way, Oklahoma was a 15-point favorite. They beat Tulane by 15. I mean, they kind of did what they were supposed to. But Tennessee, as I mentioned, part of that 133-0 parlay for me, they were up 65-0 at the half, won 71-0. Heupel remains the best first-half coach in college football, well over 70%. So if you do like Tennessee, you probably play a -4 early. I don't think there's any value there, though. I actually project Oklahoma to win outright by 2, just like Michigan winning outright. So I like the Sooners +7 or more. And I think Jackson Arnold, a mobile quarterback, can get away from that aggressive pass rush. Tennessee has been fantastic this year. I've used them for best bets, but you are paying a premium now if you're backing the Vols going forward.
You are right, Steve. And like I said, I saw the similarities, too, of this game and the matchup, and very similar situations in which Oklahoma, like you said, all right, they were 14-point favorites. They won by 15, right? And, you know, they smoked Temple in one of the games, I think. And then it's sort of like when an MMA fighter, Steve, gets knocked out once. He can win 7 fights in a row, man, and people bring up, I don't know, he might get knocked out. People are going to bring up, they didn't play well against Houston, right? That close Houston game, Steve. That's what and sort of like Michigan. Wow, they didn't blow out Arkansas State. But between the two of them, oh, my God, on 4th and 9, Stanford just hit like a 30-yard pass.
They did. Holy
These kids are unbelievable. Like, they really are. Like, they're just – I really thought Stanford could come in here and they were being undervalued. I was on them against TCU, and I read all these previews. Everyone always, Stanford this, and they use last year's stats. Taylor's a great coach, man. He's from Cal State Sacramento, actually. Okay, Cam, you got a random game you want to ask Merrill about, or a game we didn't get to? And/or Steve, do you have a game that we didn't get to, like one of the fly under the radar games?
I got one.
What you looking at, Cam?
Hi, Mike. Let's keep it with Oklahoma, but we'll go Oklahoma State. Joe Ranieri's alma mater. What do you think about Utah at Oklahoma State? Almost a pick 'em right now. What are they laying? 1 point in that game there, Steve? This is good. That's a good football game, man. Like, I don't know what to do with this one, but yeah, Utah, I don't know. Kind of like, what do you think about the Pokes in this one at home?
You know, so Cam, I do my top 25 video. We talked the Michigan game, talked the Oklahoma game. We talked this one as well, my Wager Talk TV video. And yesterday when I did the video, Oklahoma State was a 2.5-point favorite. I mentioned that Utah's star quarterback Cam Rising was expected to play. Now that it's down to pick him, I think that's shown us that he is playing. How healthy he'll be is a big question mark. By the way, I think it's his 7th year in college football. It's just insane. The 2 starting quarterbacks, combined age of 49 years combined. That's insane. What? And then Gundy, I'm a man, just like Joe Ranieri. I'm a man. And they've both been at their schools for 20 years each. I favor OK State by 5 points. I think they're an underrated team right now.
My gut tells me Utah, just for the record. I thought that Arkansas should have beaten Oklahoma State. They could have. They let them off the hook. Speaking of which, I like Arkansas against Auburn. All right, so 24-17 Nebraska right now. What wild stuff here, guys. I was just clicking around because I see that the Washington State game's on the CW network. And I get the CW network.
Nice.
I think the CW network's like regional, guys. No, I have it. Here it is. I found it. Here it is.
I don't even get it. Man, I'm a loser.
There we go, baby.
Thanks, Steve. Later, Steve.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Well, the Stanford Cardinal come back. Man, one big play after another. This is a gutsy football team. I like this team. I'm a fan of the Stanford Cardinal team. We took them against TCU. I didn't take them against Cal Poly. I skipped that game. But that's who they played. But I took them against TCU. And here we just cashed a ticket with them again. I didn't think that Syracuse are a good team, but they're not a great team. And it was too many points. And I'm, as we stated, for those of you tuning in right now that have the CW network, which I do, nice to finally the CW network comes through for me here. The CW network.
I should put that in a promo. Finally, the CW network comes through for me.
Dude, even they get mocked so much, the CW network. Like even the so there was a college football team today. There was they were like, whatever, you guys are on the CW network. It was actually the school mocking the TV deal. Wow. Live Golf is on. I don't want to, so Live Golf was CW and SportsGrid. CW network, they're coming for everything that's I like their style, Cam.
Yeah.
You know what? When I saw the deal, I was like, damn, we should have signed them. Yeah. We should have signed. Imagine SportsGrid, home of Pac-2 football.
We'd love it with the Beavers and the Cougars. It'd be like heaven.
The thing is, though, they didn't show. Like I said, they didn't show one of the games. I guess they didn't show They didn't show the Patsy game. They didn't show Washington State versus Portland State. But they've got this on right now. San Jose State, Washington State. Big night on the CW network tonight. They had Infinity racing, NASCAR racing going on tonight too on the network. So it's 10-7 for San Jose State. They're really hanging around. It's early in the second quarter of play, 13:27 left. But with that being stated, Wazoo are moving the football right now. They're on the verge. They were on the 2-yard line, but there's a flag. It came back. So now they're on the 30-yard line. But they're moving the ball down the field. Illegal man down the field. And we got a good one going on in Lincoln, Nebraska, as the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the heavily hyped Nebraska Cornhuskers, ended up closing as 9.5-point favorites in this game. The total was 42.5. I told you guys I bet in-game over 47.5. I wasn't proud of the number, but I can also tell you, how about this, Cam? Illinois, bro, 24-24. They keep responding. They just tied the game. The game has gone over the number, 42.5, and I win my over 47.5 as well. And I'm on Illinois plus the points. Let's rock.
It's been a great night so far, Gabe, and good call by you last night. I remember you saying that total was too light. I was actually thinking about playing the under in this game with these teams, but and you know, that little voice in my shoulder, like we listened to with the Jets, that voice came out again and said,
"You know your voice
actually saying too low at 42.5."
Instead of the little green man, you have Morency voice.
Don't take the under. Okay,
just remember what I said. I always say, hey, you can't run. I said it the other day. I said, yeah, the Patriots have covered 2 in a row, but like you can't rob the same bank three weeks in a row. Like you got to go to a different bank. You can't just keep going back to the same bank. Exactly. It worked. Like last night, Cam, they got busted. The Patriots tried to rob the bank, and you got nailed. Like the cops showed up, and you're under arrest. But yeah, 40. You know what it is, though, guys? Basically, 55.5, and you know whatever. What the exact number is, Cam, but it's like. Essentially, it's like 55.8 points or something it was last year, like an average college football score.
Yeah.
Like an average college football game gets to like 55 points. Dude, you get into 42, man. Like, really? You know what I mean? 21-21 gets there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now we're 24-24. And you never know. But we got a fun one. I tell you, Cam, too. Illinois, they just sacked Raiola. And I love how, too, we had Coach Bowden on. He called him Raioli.
I like it, like ravioli. That's the best.
He goes, this Raioli kid starting to play well in Nebraska.
That sounds a really good guy. Right?
I've heard like so many butchers, like it's Raiola. Yeah. But like, what are you going to say to Coach Bowden, right? An older dude, like Coach.
Oh, you let him roll with it, right?
Like his dad. He goes, hey, I think this Raioli kid's pretty good. He's making plays. It's good.
His dad was amazing too. Like great family bloodlines for football, right? Like that's
next week. I was all business tonight. Like even when we went to the break, he was like, "Man, we hit a lot of stuff there." Like he was. Yeah. I was like, "Bang, bang, bang, bang." I went like one game into another. There was not a lot of small talk, but you know, when we have time one night, I want to ask him about. Oh my God, Raiola just fumbled the ball. Illinois recovered. No, Nebraska got it. Nebraska gets it back.
Oh, slow down there. I need that parlay with Stanford plus the points. It took the money line. I just
Nebraska money line. No, your Nebraska money line's in trouble, Cam. They're punting from their end zone now.
Thank God for Stanford and the CFL. I'm on the Riders. Good start for the Riders, too. I think we could be hopefully a 4-0 night in the Canadian Football League. Are you on Saskatchewan as well? They're up on Calgary.
Yeah.
24-9.
I swept the good job. Yeah, I swept the early game, 3-0. I had Hamilton plus the points, Hamilton, Toronto in the over, Hamilton tees to the over. And I swear to God, this year the CFL, we're really murdering it. Now we're up to, because I know I posted it before, we were 92-68 in the CFL before that game. So now we're 95-68. So very 27 good. Games over 500 this year in the CFL. But I'm telling you, Cam, I go 3-0, and like 0-3. I got punched in the mouth. So It's sort of all or nothing. But I basically I'm going 3-0 like 3 out of 4 times now recently. Tonight, though, the total was a little tricky for me here. You know, Calgary, I was wondering how good Calgary's offense was going to be. But in the end, I was like, I got to stick to my guns and go with the over here. So, right now I'm on Saskatchewan. We're on the over. In the game, we got Saskatchewan and teasers. We got an in-game over 53.5 as well.
I know people are talking about the Argos, Gabe, but like a trend that is not 10 years down the line, Hamilton's beaten Toronto every game this year. They always play close games. Like that spread was pretty big. Like, and I'm watching, and for people that aren't paying attention,
Hamilton have played good, Cam, the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, exactly.
Levi Mitchell's playing better, and their defense. I'll give Jones credit. I didn't think he was a good coach, but since he's talked, they had 6 rookies in the secondary. These kids are starting to get it. Gabe, you know the CFL. You can't get it like this. It takes a whole season almost to figure it out when these kids are coming up from the States. So they're really doing good work now. Hamilton's playing good football.
Oh, my God. In the words of Keith Jackson, whoa, Nelly. Wow. Cam, you're Nebraska backers, you guys are lucky. Illinois are moving the football, like literally moving the ball. It's like, wow, they're going to score a touchdown. Their quarterback just like did the old rookie mistake here. He got lit up. He didn't know it was coming. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to blame him. I thought that he backpedaled more. He didn't. He just didn't feel it coming, but he fumbled, Cam. So Rioli, I got to call him Rioli now. Rioli fumbled. I see stumbled Rioli. It's like the time we were at the Bellagio. We were at the Bellagio, and I don't know what I was bitching about. I was bitching about something at the bar or something, and remember Cam was there, and the guy one of the managers comes over at the Bellagio in the casino, and he's like, "Hey, I know you." He goes, "I listen to your show," and then he goes to Cam. He goes, "What's Moriarty's problem? Let's get him some drinks." And on the outset, he goes, Moriarty. He goes, "Moriarty, I'm a big fan of yours, bro, but you got to chill. This is the Bellagio. You got to chill out a bit."
He's like, "Cam, I love Moriarty, but he's going wild. You got to tell him to settle down. I'll get him a drink, Moriarty. That's the best. He called you Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes.
That's funny. I'm a big fan of yours, Moriarty, but you got to chill out." It was good.
Moriarty, that's the best. I forgot that guy. He was amazing.
Yeah. Yes, Rioli. I like that. Now it's going to stick in my head forever.
Yeah, we're going to screw it up every time now. Exactly.
Call him Dominic Rioli.
Touchdown Cougs too. I see 14-10. Is that correct? 14-10 for the Cougs.
Yeah, the Cougars have taken the lead. I agree, Merrill. Listen, I'm on the Cougars. You're on the Cougars too. We're on the underdogs for the most part, but this is the one. And I like San Jose State. I've been taking them. Remember, even that night, I was like, no, I'm taking them against Cal State Sacramento. I think they're going to beat them. I was in on them, but, dude, Washington State just messed people up all the time. I didn't want to get in front of it. We'll see. They're a little higher scoring than I would like.
What a line.
That's a good number. I would lay the 9.5 now even, guys. They're going to...
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below-average quarterback with a below-average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League. Said they're 2 games behind LA. That being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We got a real one going on here. Fun game. Like I said, I'm getting real old school memories of Nebraska football. And guys, people need to remember, they were the powerhouse. Like, they were like ranked number 1 all the time to start the year. Like, for younger people, you'd think, wow, Nebraska, they suck or whatever. No, like these people, like older people grew up here in Nebraska winning national championships. Right, and then they spiraled into mediocrity, and I got to give him credit, man. Matt Rule, I'm not the biggest Matt Rule guy. He's okay. You know what I mean? I think it's a little overhyped, but I got to give him credit. But the big thing was getting Raiola, right? Raiola was going to go to Georgia. He's like a 5-star recruit. So now they're going to get better players here. But you can just feel the momentum with this Nebraska program right now.
Touchdown,
All
Tommy
right,
Frazier, Gabe. One of the best. What a quarterback he was, man. And Osborne, legendary. You're right. Nebraska was like a football factory, man. Eric Crouch. Great players from that program.
Yeah, national championship. I see Julio's in the house, and I don't know. Is Julio joining us from a garage? We got some serious noise going on here. What's going on, Julio?
Alternator. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Sound better now? I forget everything.
Sound like an HVAC, like a vacuum or something. This guy's the best.
My apologies.
What was that?
Hope you guys are doing well.
Loud.
It was air conditioning.
What was that? Oh, that's your air conditioner.
You're a play-by-play guy. You have an air conditioner on. Come on,
dude. That air conditioner. Where's it made? Mongolia? That thing's loud, bro. Like you got to tone it down.
Like he's a college football coach. I'd be taking you out of the game right now, Kev. I'd be like, all right, this old lineman. I'd be like, all right, get this 67, get over here. Like what? I thought
it was a garage too. Retsy's working on a car. That's an air conditioner. Man, that thing's loud.
Yeah, I was about to snap. Like so.
I look at your face. I'm like, sometimes you're laughing, and then it turns to anger very quickly.
That one, I was like, no, that one's getting me.
I've seen that face for 20 years. I know your levels of rage. It was getting close.
So Nebraska just missed a field goal to take a 27-24 lead. They missed the field goal.
Unreal.
Wow. All right, let's get to it's 24-24. Still right now. Whoa. And Illinois have a chance to win this football game. They're getting the ball back. Illinois are plus 135 on the money line right now.
Ooh.
And there's 2:57 left, and they're getting the ball at pretty much midfield. Like not midfield, but like it was where are they getting the ball? 35-yard line? No, they're on their 20 only. Okay, my bad. They're on their 20 right now. So I think they're probably going to score. I'm going to call the upset. I think Illinois are going to find a way to win this game, but I'm already on. I'm going to just move to 105 right now because they picked up 9 yards on first down. Okay, we got Rob Vino coming up here. So, Julio, we'll get to your best bets. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to bring up the Colorado game just because you're there. I love the way they played last week. I know it was only against Colorado State, but they didn't give up any sacks. They ran the ball. They played good defense. They looked like a real team last week. Like everything was functional. Like nobody, you know what I mean? It was a very functional performance. The coaching staff looked professional on the side. I was like, you know what? This is what it can be if you guys just stop talking so much and play football. But it seems to me that Colorado almost need to be smack talked and you got to upset them for them to get focused. They got Baylor coming to town tomorrow. Massive game. If they can win, they're 3-1. It'll silence a lot of Dion's critics. And I think they can, just because I don't think so much of Baylor that much personally. What's your pick for that game, and what are your best bets this weekend, Julio?
I love Colorado in this spot. It opened 1. It's at 2 now at some books, so shop around. We're expecting rain in Boulder. There's a lot of rain and some snow in the mountains, so right now, I'm going to take the under 51.5. I do like Colorado in this game. I think
I don't like that.
They're right.
I don't like bad weather.
That's
I don't like bad weather with this Buffs offense. They're more of a passing attack. I'm not a massive fan of that.
Mm-hmm. That they are, but I think they gain a lot of confidence on the ground game against Colorado State to allow them to really create some longer drives. So I like Colorado. Over the course of this weekend, look, Wyoming, the worst offense, one of the worst offenses in college football. A lot of panic in Laramie. They're in Denton, Texas, taking on the mean green of North Texas. So give me the mean green.
Cowboy Nation's upset Laramie. Sorry, it was funny.
They're horrible this year. Like I've never seen the Cowboys this bad. Like they're a bad football team. Like real bad.
Yeah.
Like
they're really bad. So
I've never seen a Wyoming team this bad. But Gabe, they used to be the best home dog going. You go up to Laramie there, get extra points. Now they just get murdered. Like they're a fade team. They suck hard.
I've actually been to Laramie. It freaked me out. Like it really is like out of like Deliverance and stuff. Like Julio, you spent a lot of time up there. I don't know the deliverance, but like basically, Cam, there really are just people driving around with pickup trucks and shotguns and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, you don't want to linger on
Like,
somebody's
I was there with Mick Aussie, of all people.
Yeah.
I was in
God.
Laramie, Wyoming, with Mick Aussie at a bar. And we're outside, and all I see is a bunch of dudes with shotguns and pickup trucks. And I told Mick, I swear to God, bro, you're going to get shot and you're going to get us killed if you run your mouth here. We already stick out as it is. Do not do anything. I told him, like we were in Laramie. And actually, you know what? Colorado Springs I was in too. Not Fort Collins, but I've been to, I've seen that Air Force Stadium and
Colorado Springs game, one of the highest murder rates per capita in the United States. That's where Lieutenant Joe Kenda does his damage in the homicide squad. It's beautiful, but a lot of
wilderness, Cam. It's like BC here. It's easy. You can just dump bodies in the Rocky Mountains or down in the snow.
Yeah, a lot of trees, a lot of back roads, trucking roads, a lot of dumping zones.
And if and they can't have cameras everywhere, right? They can't. It's like Alaska. Same thing. Like there are a lot of crime in Alaska. Yeah, what do you want? It's dark all the time. You're in the middle of nowhere. You can easily like just throw someone in the ocean. Bye. What are they? No one sees it. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Oh no, big time.
I'm just saying. All right. Yeah. All right. So we agree on. Sorry. They're panicking in Laramie just got me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
what else you got for us, Julio?
Yeah,
there's a large fan base. BYU was really impressed with the Cougars in Laramie, so I like BYU plus 6.5. I think they're live for an upset against Kansas State.
Wow. All right, hang on, Julio. We'll get you out in a second. We'll get an NFL pick from you on the way.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
$24-24, $1.34 left in this football game. All right, we got to get Rob Vino in here. Nebraska fans, these guys look like they want to go all shoot a deer after this game. They're all dressed in camouflage and like seriously, kid. No, look at these guys. You know, you're watching. You're a little behind me. Watch. There's a bunch of like hunters sitting there, like looking all depressed. Say, don't worry, you'll go kill Bambi tomorrow. All right. Just for this, I almost want Illinois to win.
Go kill Bambi tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to get to Rob Vino. So, what are your best bets, Julio? What do you got for us?
Dumpster diving per usual in college football. I like Eastern Washington plus 9.5 against Nevada. Northern Iowa plus 7.5 against Hawaii. BYU plus 6.5, and North Texas minus the 7 against Wyoming. And in the NFL, I think the Packers get it done on the road. Give me the Packers on the money line against the Titans.
Wow. Big card, Julio. Yeah. Always good, Julio. We'll catch up with you next week. Crush it. May the winners be yours.
Yeah, good luck. No air conditioning on next week, guys. That's a promise.
Yeah. Otherwise,
get a
I'm going to get one of these guys in Nebraska to shoot you. Thanks, Julio.
Take care, guys. Your air conditioner's too loud. Yeah, exactly. Party's over, Julio.
This guy.
You're an airport hanger. I know, seriously. I really thought he was working on his transmission. Like, that was loud. That sounded like a garage. You're right. That was weird, man.
Julio's done the wax stuff and the small town stuff. He likes it.
Yeah.
Right? That's why he's living out there in the mountains of Colorado right now. Unlike Rob Vino, big city guy. Rob Vino in Philadelphia steps up. What's going on, Rob? How you doing?
I'm good tonight, guys. How are you doing?
So, good. Rob, the total was 42.5 in the Illinois-Nebraska game. Mm-hmm. I didn't bite before the game, but I told everyone throughout the week, I said I like Illinois plus the points, but I said 42.5 is just too light. I think it'll creep over the number. So like an idiot, I didn't bet it, and then like a loser, I ended up betting an in-game number over 47.5, a bad number. I did win, but here we are right now. A 24-24 game. Did you have any action on this game? We might be going to overtime tonight in this one.
I didn't have any action on this one, Gabe, and maybe that's like a smart guy that I didn't, because if I did, I can't say I wouldn't have taken over because I wouldn't have taken under, but I likely would have been on the Nebraska side slightly, which is not going to get there. It doesn't appear. So I'm glad I stayed off. I was involved on that Syracuse team total over, which was dead wrong. And the largest play of the night right now is the San Jose State-Washington State game over, which I found a little bit at 55, Gabe. I don't know about you, but I found it a little bit shy. And so far they're going up and down the field pretty good.
Rob, I'm ashamed to tell you this. I bet the under of this game. I never bet unders, and this is the one. I was like, really? You know what? I didn't think San Jose State could score, Rob. And you know what's funny? Because I was on Stanford plus the points. I'm on Illinois plus the points. The one favorite I laid was Washington State. So it was sort of unlike me to lay the points. But I sort of thought, Cam, that I was like, Washington State are going to win like 35-10 or something, 35-15, 35-17.
I don't even believe it's you.
About to punch another one in right now.
Yeah, right there. This isn't you. That's your alter ego, Moriarty. He always takes overs in a Wazoo San Jose State game. Exactly.
I'm aware.
Who is this guy here? That guy, when you say you can have it, I'm like, that's not even real. I don't even believe you.
I should have been quick to put him on. I should have been quick to put him on offensive coordinator Craig Stutzman and the spread and shred offense of San Jose State. It's my bad.
I know.
Sorry, Gabe.
I know. But I did tell people a couple of minutes ago. I said, man, you got to take the over. You got to take Wazoo minus 9.5. Remember, I said that, Cam. I said they're going to pull away here. They're up by 11. They're up by 11 right now, and they're balling. So I think that Washington State. So the in-game total now, Rob, is 65.5 in this game. But let's not live in the past. Let's look at the future right now for tomorrow. Here's the total, Rob. What's your take on this one? And we'll get to some CFL, actually. You'll be proud of me. I was on the over, and I hit an in-game over, the Hamilton game, too. But what do you think of this Indiana game tomorrow? The total is 50. I think Indiana can score 50 on their own potentially tomorrow.
Yeah, it's crazy watching them, Gabe, because Coach Cignetti, it's the way he coached James Madison. It's not necessarily an air raid, but they score, and he scores early and often. So I wouldn't put it past Indiana after 42 against UCLA.
They've set a record. They've scored more points than any team in Indiana history for 3.
is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Brew Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
$21.10 Wazoo right now. We got a targeting that's under review. Normally in college, they review these targeting and they take it back after the fact. So Rob Vino in the house with us. I just brought up Indiana. Like I said, what a job Curtis Rourke is doing at quarterback. Signati's doing a great job coaching. Man, and you know all about Nate Rourke, Rob. You're one of the few guys that you appreciate the CFL. And I don't know, Rob, I'll send you the video, actually. And I retweeted it, Cam. I quoted it and stuff. It got a lot of hits. But it was Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, just did an interview. Mm-hmm. And he did an interview with Uninterrupted, which is a Canadian podcast. It's good stuff they do in Uninterrupted. So did an interview, and they asked him, so, remember Chad Johnson, Rob, was on the Montreal Alouettes. Mm-hmm. And they said, what tell us about your time in the CFL? And he goes, my time in the CFL, he goes, I thought it was going to be a joke. He goes, I went there, I showed up. He goes, I thought I was going to score like 4 touchdowns a game and it would be easy and I'd be the best player in the league. And he basically said he thought how easy it was going to be. And he goes, the first practice with the Alouettes, he was like, damn, this is not easy. And this is not a joke. And then he basically went on to say, and he started rattling off the teams. He goes, man, I was in Saskatchewan. I went to Toronto. I went to all these cities. And he said, he goes, these guys are all good. And he goes, there's guys on every team that are good enough to be in the NFL. But he brought it up. He goes, there's a numbers game, right? And he said, there's only, 1,488 players or whatever in the NFL. Just not enough jobs to go around for everybody. And I always say it, Cam and Rob, sort of like college football, like the South Alabamas and the Troys of the world. Not everybody in the state of Alabama plays for Alabama or Auburn, right? There's only 200 spots, 150 spots to go around, man, for those 2 teams. Doesn't mean that every other kid in the state of Alabama can't play college football and do it well after. So it was cool to see Ocho Cinco. I can send you the mini. They clipped it into a mini clip. I can send you the clip. But
I'd like that.
It's been fun in the CFL this year. But what are you looking at tomorrow, Rob, in the college football card? What stands out to you? What do you like?
In the
of course.
No, he's back.
There we go.
Yeah, here you go, Rob.
What do you like? College football, Rob?
At the game where New Mexico's the 133rd ranked.
No, we'll reset with Rob. As soon as I ask him the question, the important question, somehow. We'll get Rob in here.
When there's always a touchdown when we go to break. It's the world's a very weird place, Moriarty. Moriarty, can't get over that.
History repeats itself. That's
yes,
the problem.
It does. It really does.
Sports betting and life and technology. I've had a rough week with technology. So we got Rob Vino in the house. 21-10 Washington State. San Jose State got the ball back. They're on their own 25-yard line. This game's slowing down a little bit right now because Washington State didn't score on their last drive. So, yeah, Rob, I asked you, what do you like college football tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I started to say, Gabe, at Mountain West, I'm kind of disappointed that your guest before me didn't bring up Fresno State, New Mexico, because the total here is 60. Just don't see how it stays under 60, Gabe. Fresno, since they got out of Ann Arbor, has put up 46 and 48 on 515 yards and 538 yards against subpar defenses, which New Mexico, by the way, owns the 133rd ranked total defense out of 134 teams in FBS football. And for New Mexico, the schedule hasn't been easy, right, guys? They played FCS Elite in Montana State. They played Arizona. They played Auburn. And yet New Mexico, with Devin Dampier at quarterback, is averaging almost 30 a game. So to me, I thought the number was light. It's in New Mexico. If it was in Fresno, maybe I would think New Mexico gets stunted a little bit scoring-wise. But at home, it's an interesting team, too, because it's Bronco Mendenhall's team, and it's the reverse of what we perceive Bronco Mendenhall to be. They play no defense, a lot of offense. So I'm on that over 60 in that one. I'm also on another. I'll give you overs because I know you love them. Toledo, Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky came out of their show last week. It's interesting that it took TJ Finley to get hurt at quarterback for them to go ahead and input Caden Beltcamp, who comes in and goes 27 for 30. And Western Kentucky rolls in that game, look like the dynamic offense that we always know them to be. And Toledo absolutely shredded Mississippi State last week. Western Kentucky, just for what it's worth, Gabe and Kim, I think 50% of this handicap at this point in time. So I like those two totals a lot.
Rob, you're cutting in and out a little bit. We got you a little bit there. For me, guys, I don't understand the total here well, I guess I can understand it. It's gone up a little bit, but if Rob can refresh his audio here. Rob, the Volunteers are scoring over 60 points a game this year. Now, I know, they played some inferior opponents. They played some MAC teams, but they hung up like 1 million points on NC State as well. So I think this offense can score on basically anybody. I know Oklahoma have a pretty good defense. Venables still really hasn't put this program together, in my opinion, all that much. What am I missing with the 57.5 here, Rob? Shouldn't this game go over with Tennessee and Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's hard to say that you're missing anything, Gabe. I know it's an SEC contest, so maybe, you get a little more intensity on the defensive side. But I would also add in that you wonder when Jackson Arnold and company are going to break out offensively. Tennessee really hasn't been tested on the defensive side. The numbers look great. The film looks great, but it hasn't been against good opposition yet. So I couldn't play it under because I'd be too scared that Oklahoma comes up with an offensive effort here. And Tennessee, as you mentioned, Gabe, look unstoppable at this point in time. But nobody seems to want to take the bait at this point. 57.5 seems like it's just hanging there.
All right, NFL football. We got a couple of minutes left with Rob Vino here. NFL football, Philadelphia Eagles. Rob's in Philadelphia. Coming off the Monday Nighter right now, it seems like there's trouble in paradise, or it's not so sunny in Philadelphia, I should say, right now. Already early in the season, I thought that they could absorb A.J. Brown being out more than they did. It was clearly a problem in the red zone. And now it looks like Gardner Johnson's going to miss this game. Slay looks a step slow in the secondary, Rob. And whatever. We all thought the Saints would suck. Newsflash, they don't. And I think the Saints team's going to be able to score on Philadelphia. I like the Saints on Sunday, Rob. What's the feeling in Philadelphia? What's your feeling about it?
Yeah, the feeling isn't great here in Philadelphia, Gabe. First of all, they can't rush the passer. That's now become a national fact. Everybody knows it now, but they don't rush the passer. And then, like you mentioned, with Johnson missing, that weakens the defense even more. And I'll say it again, with Vic Fangio as your defensive coordinator, who loves to live on pressure and man coverage, just isn't going to work here. So he's got to alter the scheme a little bit. And the other side's loaded with wide receiver speed. Chris Olave hasn't even gotten going yet. Everything's been Rashid Shaheed. You have A.T. Perry. You have Cedric Wilson. I mean, that team, when you add in Alvin Kamara out of the backfield as a dual threat, has a lot of weapons. And if you can't rush Derek Carr like Dallas couldn't last week, even with a backup left tackle for New Orleans, you have trouble. So I agree with the movement toward the over. New Orleans will get theirs. I think Philly can still get theirs. A couple of dumb mistakes by Sirianni not scoring on that first drive when Saquon was gaining 9 a carry.
Oh, I talked about it.
Yeah. He pulls him and puts in Kenneth Gainwell and runs him into the middle twice in a row on third down.
That's exactly my words. I was live. That's exactly what I said. What the F did you give it to Gainwell, the small guy, for to run it up the middle?
Right.
You think that's going to work? And I even said, Rob, I at the time, I was like, take the 3, bro. Take the 3. And I'm an overbetter, and even I'm like, just take the 3. And I brought up McVay not doing it in Detroit the week before, in which he did the same thing. He went for it from like the 9-yard line or something. And it was like, dude, it's the first quarter. What are you doing, coach? Early in the second or whatever. And, oh, yeah, the game goes to overtime, and you end up losing. Like, these coaches, like, they're allergic to taking 3 points, Rob. It's amazing.
No, and Sirianni's not allergic to running up and down the sidelines, high-fiving when something goes good, and then when it goes bad in the post-game, he's throwing his team under the bus for 15 minutes before he mentions himself.
Well, I don't call the plays. Calvin's the OC, but I have
Jalen was supposed to
How you doing that, bro? You're going to lose everyone's respect.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind LA, that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
SJSU moving the football right now. San Jose State moving the ball as I'm watching the game on the CW network. Nothing tops watching college football on the CW network. Old tradition, Rob. It's one of these games. I didn't even realize the game was on a network, Rob. I sort of looked. I was looking, and I actually said out loud, I said, man, I got to get into I got to start watching this Washington State game. And I clued in. I was on the CW network, and I'm like, I get the CW network. So I started flicking around, and I found the game. And then I remembered I saw the ad, a couple of weeks ago that they were like, the CW network, home of Pac-2 football this year. So they've got Oregon State games and they got Washington State games, guys. San Jose State are second in goal, guys, with $1:45 left here in the first half now. Big plays coming up here.
Good for the total.
I usually find Melrose Place or Beverly Hills 90210.
You're right, Rob. Old episodes of Family Matters with Urkel. You got Martin, and it's a Melrose Place for everybody. One wants to get kinky. Gotta love the CW.
A lot of Family Feud too. A lot of Family Feud.
Dude, I've seen so many Family Feud reruns. It's like, man, they just churn them out, man. It's ridiculous.
Every second ad is either for Family Feud or that show The Neighbors with Cedric, the entertainer.
Let's go on that show, guys. Let's go on Family Feud. Let's get two more guys to watch Family Feud.
Rob's like, I've seen that show. We got Tony Finn hopping up and in here in a minute. So one of your colleagues, Rob. Before we get you out of here, we appreciate your time. Anything else in the NFL? I asked you about the Philadelphia game, but what catches your eye? And wow, touchdown San Jose State. They're not going away. They just scored. And I tell you, there's time for Washington State to respond too. We got $1:40 left in a half. So my under was a bad look, and we'll see what the updated number is here now with the point spread. But what else do you like, Rob? Before we get you out of here, NFL football.
Real quick, Gabe, I'm just going to backtrack because I skipped one on you in college football, a noontime start East tomorrow, 9 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. But that Houston-Cincinnati game, I played Houston. I mentioned this because I want to run this statistic by you. Houston, their last two games defensively against Oklahoma and Rice, they have faced 24 possessions. How about these numbers? 20 of the 24 have gone 19 yards or less against them. 21 of those have averaged 3.8 yards per play or less, and only 2 of 24 drives have entered the red zone against the Houston Cougars in the last two games. It's crazy how good the defense is under Willie Fritz, how fast he's turned it around. But Houston plus points is probably good. And where NFL football is concerned, you guys mentioned a few games during the break, but I do like that Philly over against New Orleans. We'll get that out of the way. I think Detroit bounces back this week, guys. It seems to be a love affair with Arizona, but to me, Detroit looks like 2 preseason games so far. I don't know where the offense is, but I feel it'll come around. And I don't know how you don't fade the LA Rams at this point in time. Just a terrible amount of injuries where they can't do anything. Last week's game against Arizona was brutal to watch what they have to go through offensively with no OL and no receivers.
I'll tell you what, Detroit Lions moved the ball last week. They're 1 for 7 in the red zone. They're going to have to tighten this thing up. Otherwise, pressure is going to start on Detroit and Jared Goff. Illinois won the football game, guys, 31-24. Their second 4-0 start since 1951. So they've only started 4-0 once, Cam, since 1951. And Illinois are 4-0. Right.
I would have said like maybe with Jeff George, but no, 1951. No. Wow. Holy jeez. That's crazy.
If Jeff George is around in the NIL era, he would have left teams every year.
I'm right, he would have.
He would have left mid-year. All right, no, this other team offered me at halftime more money. Exactly. Sorry, I got to go there. He would have sold out right away. Jeff George, guy had a cannon. People thought he was going to be the next Dan Marino. Thanks, Rob Vino.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one, buddy.
All right, so 31-24, Illinois with the win, the upset win. Let's bring in Tony Finn and see if he had a piece of this. Tony, good to see you. I did not have Illinois on the money line, but I had Illinois plus the points, and I did bet the over of this game, so we hit it. And like I said, only the second time since 1951, Illinois are 4-0.
Yeah. Well, I thought if you're a box score, hunter, or you like expected points, when the box score is complete, Illinois probably should have lost to Kansas. But 4-0 is really good for them. And I think at this point in time, you make a decision. You're gonna keep riding Illinois, or are you going to start fading them when they hit the Big Ten action that's a little bit too much for what I think this team actually is?
Well, they just won as 9-point underdogs, so in Big Ten action.
Yeah. Real Big Ten action. How about real Big Ten action? I don't think Illinois is part of the real Big Ten action, personally. Time will tell if I'm right or wrong.
No, they're not. They're not Ohio State. They're not the Ducks. I get that, but they're not an easy team to play. And they just won 2 weeks in a row as underdogs. They got no respect last week against the Kansas Jayhawks, and they won that game.
Yeah,
so now Washington State are moving the ball once again. They're only up 21-17 right now. Man, this San Jose State team, guys, really playing good football this year. The point spread right now is 10.5. Any opinion, Tony? Did you play this game with
no
San Jose State and Washington State?
I didn't play this game, but I would have been. Listen, I really like San Jose State as a program. I like the staff. Last year I was kind of down in the Mountain West, but with all the jibber jabber and the rumors of the Mountain West and who they pulled or who the Pac-12 is trying to recruit, at least it looks like they have recruited. The fact that UNLV wasn't part of that, it's kind of a messy situation around here in Vegas, and a lot of questions being asked about the Pac-12 again. Not like they haven't been asked over the period of time, but I would have been on San Jose State. I like the team.
Well, and for people that are wondering, and listen, it seems to me UNLV would be a slam dunk perfect fit for this new Pac-12. They need a major metropolis, Vegas. You get the stadium, you get the city, it writes itself. But it's politics come into play, right? UNLV is a state-funded institution, and so is Nevada, and I guess the education board, the board of governors, blah, blah, that run this stuff. Are insisting that they stay in the same conference so that, what? The Pac-12 would have to take Nevada, which if I was the Pac-12, just freaking do it. Like you're already at 6 right now. You get to 8 and you can go to 10 or 12 after. But they're so obsessed with Memphis. And I don't know what the hell they see in Memphis. Like, dude, Memphis are okay, fine. But,
right now,
what are you guys obsessed with Memphis for?
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
Crew has already clinched the National League Central. They're 2 games behind L.A., that being the Dodgers, trying to maybe get the 2nd seed in the National League standings for October.
Both of these teams have a chance to score some runs against these pitching matchups, so maybe another over, even though we do have a playoff atmosphere. And yes, Milwaukee did clinch, but there's still an eye on the prize of we might be able to chase down the Dodgers and also the Phillies to get one of those buys.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So 21-17 for Washington State in this game. They're laying 9.5 once again. I think they might be able to get a field goal on the way out here. But, man, this San Jose State team, unbelievable. And I'd never play unders. I bet the under this game. I never lay big points like with these. I'll lay big points with a real good team, but like mediocre, coming off a big win, know them better.
for that number, that is a game that I'm really looking at right now as one of my favorites. It fits the bill with my dumpster. NFL, I'm with. I don't know if you like Detroit. I like Detroit a lot in football on Sunday. I also like Tennessee, but I know you just
covered a point spread, 1 for 7 in the red zone last week. Their wide receivers don't get open. Like, for all the talk about the Detroit Lions, all right, look at their wide receivers. Who do they actually really have? Like, honestly, like, they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's not a star, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he gets hyped up.
No.
Yeah, Jameson Williams is fast cam sometimes. He's just a kid. He doesn't run good routes. Like, they're like Jared Goff, nobody is open. So he's dropping back. Nobody is open. He's forcing things. The play calling is weird. With that dude that never takes the head coaching job, for Ben Johnson, never takes the head coaching job. And Arizona were really good against Buffalo. They were perfect against the Rams. And I don't know. To me, I like the 3 points. I'm considering taking Arizona in the contest, actually.
Wow.
Well, I think this is a good matchup. I think it's a good matchup for Detroit, though. I do. I think you just pointed it out. Arizona's going to give up points. They're not that good defensively. They're going to be able to score. I thought that they were one of the – I thought if you're a fantasy player, they should be – those are the guys that should be targeted, was Arizona players.
I love the over this game, Cam, and Tony. To me, that's the best bet. Over 51.5.
No,
listen, I'm not taking Arizona in the contest, Cam. I was looking at them like, it's 2 weeks in a row. You're going back to it again. And the problem is they were so perfect. It's almost like betting on a pitcher after a perfect game. Like Kyler Murray had a perfect quarterback rating last week. He was 5 for 5 on passes, 20 yards.
He looked great. He's looking really good. He's scampering. He looks healthy early in the season. What do you think about Houston and Minnesota? That's a tough game. That's a very good game.
I like Minnesota. I like the Minnesota Vikings. All right, let me get my college best bets up here. Thanks, guys. So here we go. College football for me tomorrow. I'm going to have more in the morning. I'll post them, but I'm going to lay the points with Indiana. I've been telling you guys about this Hoosier team. They're relentless. They don't let up. Charlotte suck. Indiana, they're playing at home. They want to impress their fan base and really get on the map in the rankings and stuff. They won't let up. Indiana's going to win this game like 45-10 or so. So let's lay the points with the Hoosiers, and let's go over the number. Arkansas and Auburn. Auburn keep changing. Auburn are like the Philadelphia Flyers who can't find a goalie. Auburn Tigers can't get a quarterback. I don't know what the deal is. It's just for years. They just, it's one quarterback after another. They always play multiple guys. And they got a new quarterback in. He looked good against New Mexico. So what? Give me Arkansas. I think Arkansas are a good football team. I like Arkansas in this game, getting the 2.5 points. I got to take Michigan plus the 4. One final stand with Go Blue, my Michigan Wolverines. But I literally do believe they can run the ball down USC's throat. We'll see if USC can handle their first road Big Ten game at the Big House, 3:30 Eastern. Can't wait for this game. Tennessee, Oklahoma. I don't know what I'm missing here. Tennessee scores over 60 points a week. I know they're not dropping 60 on Oklahoma, but I think they're going to get into the high 30s. And I think Tennessee will be able to score on Oklahoma. Will be able to score on Tennessee as well. Let's go over the number. And I'm going to take Colorado, guys, to beat the Baylor Bears Saturday night. I like what the Buffs did last week. I think they keep the momentum going this week. Tony, we got about 30 seconds. You got a best bet for us?
Well, quickly, I like Utah in Stillwater. I like them when they were getting points. They're now giving points. Sharp money is telling you. Yeah, they're telling you that, you're going to get the right quarterback. And in the NFL, listen, there's a big adjustment here. When you go from a -3 to a +3, it's too big without a quarterback problem. I like the Eagles getting 3 indoors.
Ooh. Tony. Finn at Wager Talk. We were pressed for time. We'll get an extra segment in for Tony next week. It was a crazy show tonight. We had 1 million guests. I've been talking 1 million miles an hour all night. You get all my picks on Twitter X. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours later.